8 spine-chilling ghost sightings exposed. Terrifying paranormal encounters caught on camera. Rachel couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. It all started in Oakwood, a neighborhood she had always thought of as peaceful and safe. But lately, the streets were filled with whispers, shadows lurking behind her neighbors' closed doors. Petty crimes crept into quiet lives, twisting the air thick with fear. Late-night sirens replaced the comforting sounds of her children laughing, and unspoken dread clawed at her heart. Then the news came. 8 spine-chilling ghost sightings caught on camera near the abandoned Oakwood Academy. The school sat like a silent sentinel across the street, windows dark, cracked walls listening in on the fear swirling around the families. Petty crimes crept into quiet lives, twisting the air thick with fear. Late-night sirens replaced the comforting sounds of her children laughing, and unspoken dread clawed at her heart. Then the news came. 8 spine-chilling ghost sightings caught on camera near the abandoned Oakwood Academy. The school sat like a silent sentinel across the street, windows dark, cracked walls listening in on the fear swirling around the families. It made Rachel's skin crawl, and hearing murmurs about a teacher who vanished decades ago rocked her to the core. Every morning she walked her kids past those gates, her heart pounded, reminding her of the forgotten tales. A chill swept through her as she recalled the stories told around campfires, whispers with jagged edges. Even the bravest shivered at the thought of going near that building after dark. "Mama, can we go see the school?" Mia's innocent voice shattered her thoughts one evening as they strolled home from the park. Rachel shook her head, dismissing her daughter's curiosity, but fear gripped her insides like a vice. She couldn't shake the unease gnawing at her. Suddenly, a flash. Something darted across the yard of Oakwood Academy. Rachel froze. Could it be her imagination? The setting sun cast sinister shadows that twisted around the school's frame, and a moment later, it was gone. Just like that. A shiver ran down her spine, turning her legs to lead on the sidewalk. As days passed, the unease spread like wildfire. It formed an oppressive blanket, weighing down her mind during late-night shifts at the hospital. Just as she wrapped her head around keeping her kids safe, the children began to talk about their new friends. Whispers filled the house, laughter that sounded too distant, too hollow, echoing up the stairs. One night, as Rachel scrolled through her phone, a chilling fog filled her living room. The screen flickered, revealing faces that shouldn't be there, shadows flitting behind her children's innocent smiles. She gasped, her heart racing. Had she really seen that? But when she went back, a glitch, a trick of the light, just her imagination. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. It was just fear, right? But still, the whispers grew.
Louder in her mind. Mr. Jenkins, her elderly neighbor, appeared uninvited more often. His kind eyes held too many questions, his interest in her family becoming unsettling. Shadowy forms often flitted past her window, never entirely in focus. The darkness whispered secrets, shadows twisting into haunting shapes as they threaded through her thoughts. On a particularly heavy night, Rachel clutched her children tight, her phone gripped in her trembling hand. Shadows danced outside as thunder rumbled violently in the deepening dark. Suddenly, a whisper echoed against her ear. "Help us." It mingled with her children's laughter, and dread pooled in her stomach like ice water. Something was lurking in the forgotten halls of Oakwood Academy. She could feel it. Pulling her children close, heart pounding, she made a fateful decision. She would end this. She would confront the darkness and finally unearth the truth or be consumed by it. As she stood at the threshold of the decaying structure, hands clasped tightly with her kids, she took a deep breath, pushed through the creaking doors, and stepped into the lurking shadows. Every heartbeat echoed like a warning in the silence. What awaited her inside? The air inside Oakwood Academy was thick, like a damp shroud clinging to her skin. Rachel stepped into what felt like an abyss, heart racing, dragging Mia and Ethan behind her. The doors creaked ominously as they closed, sealing them in darkness illuminated only by the flickering light from her phone. Their shadows danced on the walls, elongating into grotesque shapes that evoked whispers she couldn't discern. "Mom, can we go back?" Ethan's voice trembled, the echoes amplifying his fear. Rachel knelt down to reassure him, her own pulse quickening. "Just a little longer. We need to know what's happening here," she whispered, forcing herself to sound brave while every instinct screamed for them to flee. As they moved deeper into the school, the halls morphed into an eternal tunnel. Rusting lockers loomed like sentinels, each one a reminder of lost dreams and forgotten nights. A sudden chill brushed Rachel's face, sending a wave of goosebumps racing down her arms. It was as if the building itself was exhaling something dark, and it made the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. "How about we play a game?" Mia suggested. Her voice was bright, too bright for the atmosphere, and it sent a chill through Rachel. This was not the time for games. Yet as they moved past the science lab, Mia started to hum a soft tune, something sweet and innocent, a stark contrast to the oppressive gloom surrounding them. Rachel turned toward her daughter, trying to quell the gnawing anxiety. "Sweetheart, please don't." But Mia wasn't listening. Instead, she skipped ahead, leading Ethan by the hand, her laughter a haunting melody that ricocheted off the cracked tiles. That laugh, it echoed in strange, unsettling ways, curling into unsettling tones that made Rachel's heart thump louder. Panic surged as she hurried after them, clenching her phone tightly, the light illuminating the grotesque outlines of murals peeling off the walls. "Mia! Ethan!" she called, straining to keep her voice calm. The hallway seemed to stretch impossibly far, the shadows closing in around her. Each step felt heavier, as if invisible hands gripped her ankles. Finally, she found them, both kids standing in front of a classroom door, peering through the glass like sentinels at the edge of oblivion. Rachel caught up, breathless. "What are you doing?" she hissed. "There's someone in there," Mia said, pointing. Rachel's heart plummeted as she followed her daughter's gaze. Inside, a figure stood still, shrouded in darkness, silhouetted against an ancient chalkboard that still bore faded writing. The figure's face was obscured, but Rachel felt its eyes boring into her. "Mommy, can we go in?" Ethan asked, his voice small, innocent. Rachel's stomach twisted. She couldn't shake the feeling that this figure was watching them, assessing them. "No, don't move," she barked, pulling them back. Her heart raced, every instinct clawing at her to leave. But then the whispers began again, a chorus of voices, soft and pleading, seeming to seep through the very walls. "Help us! Help us!" The hair on Rachel's arm stood upright. What was this place? An overwhelming urge to protect her children surged through her. "We need to go," she urged, her voice cracking. But before they could turn to escape, the classroom door creaked open slowly, revealing the vacant space within. The figure stepped closer, shadows swirling like ink around it, drenching the air in a heavy dread that clung to Rachel's skin. "Mama, look!" Mia exclaimed, stepping forward as if drawn by a pull she couldn't understand. "Get back!" Rachel shouted, yanking her daughter back, but it was too late.
The figure lunged toward them with a speed that stole her breath, darkness trailing like smoke. They stumbled back as a frigid wind surged through the hallway, sweeping them off their feet. Desperation clawed at Rachel's throat, the air thick and suffocating. She was losing them, losing her grip on reality. The whispers became shouts, rising in a deafening crescendo. "Help us!" Rachel gripped her kids tightly, pushing her fear aside. They had to escape. As she turned to run, the laughter returned, echoing around her, an ominous reminder of what they had encountered. But as they fled toward the exit, the darkness crept in behind them, sealing their fate. Had they truly entered the haunted halls of Oakwood Academy? Or had the haunted entered their very souls? As they burst through the doors into the moonlit night, Rachel gasped for breath. But the sinister shadows followed, coiling around her, whispering secrets too terrible to unveil. What had she unleashed? The moon hung high, casting a silvery light that barely penetrated the grasp of the ominous trees surrounding Oakwood Academy. Rachel stumbled out into the night, dragging Mia and Ethan behind her. The air outside felt deceptively fresh, yet something loomed darkly at the edges
of her vision, a persistent chill creeping closer. "Mama, why is it so dark?" Ethan's small voice broke through her thoughts. Rachel glanced down at her son, his face pale, eyes wide and glistening with unshed tears. She fought the urge to comfort him, the cold tendrils of fear tightening around her. "We're safe now, honey," she said, though uncertainty gnawed at her insides. Behind them, the school loomed like a monster, its broken windows gaping like mouths ready to swallow them whole. As they turned to leave the grounds, the air grew heavier. A feeling of dread washed over Rachel, clinging to her chest. "We should hurry," she urged, guiding the children away from the dreaded building, but her instincts told her they weren't out of danger yet. Suddenly, a ghastly howl echoed through the night, sending shivers racing down Rachel's spine. It was a sound she knew would haunt her dreams. The hairs on her neck prickled as the echo bounced off the trees. Mia squeezed her hand tightly, trembling. "What was that?" she whispered, glancing back toward the school. "No idea. Just keep walking," Rachel insisted, pushing herself to maintain a steady pace. But when they reached the edge of the property, the temperature dropped suddenly, biting at their skin like a swarm of angry wasps. "Mama, it hurts," Ethan whined, his little body shaking uncontrollably. "I know, honey," Rachel murmured, glancing back over her shoulder. Through the haze of shadows, she could have sworn she saw those same figures moving along the upper balcony of the school. Just a trick of the light, she told herself, desperately shaking off the growing panic. And then there came a series of quick, muffled thuds behind them, as though someone was coming down the stairs, too fast. "Run!" she shouted. They sprinted, leaving the academy behind. But that sinister presence chased them relentlessly, shadows swirling in the periphery of their vision. Rachel felt her heart hammer. "Keep up with me! Don't look back!" They veered down the winding path away from the darkness of Oakwood. The trees, once merely silent observers, seemed to close in around them. Their branches reached out like skeletal fingers, obstructing the moonlight and enveloping them in a suffocating darkness. Out of nowhere, Mia gasped. "Look, Mommy!" Rachel turned just in time to see her daughter point upward. A pale light flickered above them, shimmering with an ethereal glow. "What is it?" Rachel breathed, doubt filling her voice. The light flickered again, but no more than that, dancing on the edge of the trees. It was mesmerizing. Rachel's feet hesitated, but she shook her head, pulling her children with her. "Keep moving, Mia!" The sudden silence of the night pierced through her, deafening, as if even the wind held its breath. Then came the whispers again, clear as a bell. "Help us! Help us!" Rachel froze, the weight of those words crashing over her. She turned her eyes toward the glowing light, which intensified, illuminating a gruesome scene behind her. Dozens of shadowy figures now hovered at the tree line, watching their every move, their features indistinct and warped. Rachel's heart sank. "Run! Run!" she yelled, her voice breaking. The boys moved faster, but Mia lagged behind, her eyes wide and filled with dread. "Mama, I'm scared," she cried, but Rachel could only push on, driven by mother's instinct to protect. Yet behind them, the shadows began to wail in unison, a dreadful chorus that clawed at her sanity. Then, something grabbed her ankle, a cold grip, pulling her back, dragging her down. She turned back just in time to see the sinister figure from before, its face now mere inches from hers, gradually materializing in the darkness. "Help us," it whispered, voice hollow and echoing. "No, let me go!" Desperation coursed through Rachel, and with a mighty heave, she broke free and sprinted forward, heart pounding wildly. "Mommy!" Mia screamed, terror evident in her voice as she too fell behind. Rachel felt a surge of breathless panic. "Mia! Ethan! Come on!" Plunging forward, deeper into the shadows of the forest, the light flickered out behind them, but the whispers continued to echo in their ears. As they fled, Rachel knew one thing for certain. Whatever they'd unleashed at Oakwood had no intention of letting them go. What lay ahead? The tranquil path through the woods? Or something more sinister that awaited in the depths of night? Rachel stumbled through the woods, her lungs screaming for air as her heart pounding against her ribcage. Mia's small hand slipped from hers, and her breath caught in her throat. "Mia!" she shouted, panic clawing at her. "Mama!" Mia cried, just a few steps behind, frozen as she stared into the impenetrable darkness. Did her daughter hear them too? The whispers like 1,000 lost souls calling out for salvation. Rachel felt like she was being swallowed whole by the shadows, each tree standing like a solemn guard, watching their flight. "Keep moving," she urged, tearing through the underbrush, her instincts screaming to get away from whatever was hunting them. She turned, eyes darting toward the little girl. "Don't stop!" But as they pushed deeper into the forest, the air grew thick, heavy with dread. The shadows seemed to stretch longer and darker with each passing moment. Brad, the nature lover in her, might have appreciated the beauty of the night, but right now, Rachel just felt the eyes, cold and prickly on her back. "Mama, please," Ethan whined, his breath hitching. "Where are we going?" "To safety," she replied, forcing more confidence into her voice than she felt. Yet a nagging doubt began to creep in. Was there anywhere safe? Who knew what lurked in the dark? The wailing voices grew louder, cutting through the air, each plea echoing against the trees, intensifying the panic. "Help us! Help us!" Their tone twisted with desperation, mingling with a sinister undertone that made Rachel's skin crawl. Then came the sound, a rustling in the woods, a low growl that shattered the eerie silence. She turned, her heart stopping as shadows shifted, moving ever so subtly. Something was there, hidden behind the bark, breathing, watching. Out of sheer instinct, she yanked Mia closer, but the girl stood frozen, eyes locked on the space between the trees. "What is that, Mommy?" Mia whispered, her voice trembling. "I don't know, honey. Stay close." Moving forward, Rachel leaned her body as a shield against whatever horrors awaited them. Not daring to look back, she forced her legs to pump faster until her muscles screamed in protest. But with every stride, the whispers intensified, becoming more insistent, more urgent. Suddenly, in the distance, a flicker of light shimmered like a beacon. For a moment, Rachel felt hope surge through her, reckless and intoxicating. "Look, there's a way out," she cried, pointing toward the glimmer. Just as they sprinted toward it, a horrific shriek shattered the night air, reverberating through the trees. Rachel felt a visceral shock, her stomach churning at the sound, a mix of despair and malice that sailed through the air. She stumbled, forcing breath into her lungs. "We have to go!" But the flickering light dimmed, swallowed by the darkness, as if it never existed. The hostile chill wrapped around them, a shroud of shadows tightening its grip.
No, 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 Rachel gasped, dread pooling in her veins like ice. One of the shadows lurched from behind a tree, a twisted figure manifesting, its facial features indistinguishable, yet painfully human. It lunged toward them, whispering, "Help us, help us." They ran faster than they ever had, fear pushing every ounce of energy from their bodies. Rachel's thoughts raced, desperate to break free from the growing darkness. The shadowy figures now swarmed closer, their whispers mingling with the wind, as if chasing them. "Mama, it's coming!" Ethan screamed, tears streaming down his small cheeks. "Hang on, we're almost there." But the ground beneath them felt unstable, as if every step pulled them closer to the grip of the unknown. The woods enveloped them, shadows dancing in the periphery, laughter bubbling just beneath the surface. And then, they stumbled into a clearing. Against the desolation, an old, decaying cabin loomed, its windows like empty eyes watching them approach. Rachel froze. Was this a refuge or a trap laid out for them? One last glance back revealed the dark figures regrouping, merging with the darkness. "Let's go inside," Rachel whispered, dread thick in her throat. As they creaked the door open, a deafening silence replaced the frantic whispers, leaving a lingering question. Were they finally safe, or had they stepped into a deeper nightmare? What secrets awaited them in the cabin? Who or what had been waiting all along? Inside the cabin, the air felt stagnant, clinging to Rachel's skin like a damp shroud. The room was cloaked in darkness, illuminated only by thin moonlight spilling through broken panes. Dust motes hung in the stale air, swirling like lost souls, and the wooden floor creaked ominously beneath their weight. "Mama, I don't like it here," Mia whimpered, her small voice trembling as she clutched Rachel's leg. Ethan leaned against the wall, eyes wide, searching the shadows that stretched toward him like dark fingers. "Just for a moment, sweetie, we need to catch our breath," Rachel replied, although her heart thudded against her chest, screaming for them to run again. They were not out of danger yet. She stepped further into the room, the worn floorboards groaning. Old cobwebs draped the corners, and the faint scent of decay filled her nostrils. A fireplace stood cold and empty, ash scattered like memories long forgotten. But then, something glimmered in the sparse light. A silver locket lay abandoned on the mantel, catching Rachel's eye. "What is that?" Ethan asked, pointing. "Probably nothing, honey. Stay close to me." As Rachel approached the mantel, cold creeping up her spine, the whispers began again, echoing in the corners of her mind. They were different now, softer, yet even more unsettling. "Help us, help us." The voices bled into the silence, filling the cabin with an eerie plea. Rachel's breath quickened. She picked up the locket, examining it closely. "What are you?" she murmured, running her thumb over its ornate design as the locket clicked open. Inside was a faded photograph of a family. 2 parents and 3 children, their faces hauntingly familiar. Rachel felt a chill race down her spine, pooling somewhere deep within her. "Mama, it's not safe here." Mia tugged at her sleeve, pulling Rachel back from the edge of oblivion, where curiosity threatened to lead her. Suddenly, a loud bang rang through the cabin, making them jump. It was a door slamming somewhere in the back of the house, echoing like thunder. "Run!" Rachel shouted, adrenaline surging. They bolted down the small hallway, heartbeats thundering as if they might escape whatever darkness had any claim on this place. They reached the back door, but it wouldn't budge. Frantically, Rachel pushed against it, sweat trickling down her brow. "Why won't it open?" She glanced back. The darkness behind them felt alive, as if it was breathing down their necks. "Mama!" Ethan cried again, the terror cracking across his voice like a fragile glass. "Mama, help!" Mia's voice quivered, high and piercing. Rachel pounded on the wood, fear clawing at her throat. The whispers intensified, rising to a frenzied chant. "Help us! Help us!" The walls seemed to pulse, thrumming with energy, as if the house itself were alive, a malignant entity waiting for them to succumb to despair. "Mama, please!" Ethan shrieked, his eyes darting back to the hallway. Rachel turned, struggling. In the growing shadows, the twisted figure from the woods emerged again, lurching toward them from the darkness, a monstrous parody of humanity that made bile rise in her throat. Just as the thing reached the threshold, black tendrils snaked around the figure, pulling it back. A chorus of fallen souls surged forward, paper-thin faces stretching out in anguish.
Their mouths wide with silent screams. Their hollow eyes locked on Rachel, and the terror washed over her like icy water, panic gripping her like an iron vice. "Get away from her!" Rachel screamed, lunging, instinctively shielding her children. But the whispers twisted and turned, encircling her with grief and desperation. "Help us! Help us!" In that moment, a flicker of flame lit in the corner of her eye, drawing her gaze to an old lantern hanging on the wall. The flame sputtered, casting wild shadows as it ignited. "Mama, what do we do?" Ethan's voice broke through her terror. Rachel fought against the rising despair, her fingers trembling over the locket. With a sudden clarity, she realized the key was not just escape, but understanding what bound the spirits here, the secret behind that family. Could the locket hold the truth? Behind her, the shadows erupted, and she knew they needed to act fast. Would the secrets inside the locket reveal a way out, or would it seal their fate forever? "Mia, Ethan, stay close. We need to find out." As the darkness swirled around them and the lantern flickered in a desperate dance, Rachel gripped the locket tighter. What would they uncover within those haunting memories? Would it lead to their salvation or the end of everything? The lantern flickered wildly, casting frantic shadows over the remnants of the cabin. Rachel's heart hammered as she turned the locket over in her hands, searching for answers hidden behind the tarnished metal. She could feel the weight of the whispers pressing down, a palpable tension that threatened to suffocate her will. "Mama, please!" Ethan's desperate plea shattered her concentration. The dread in his voice ignited her instincts. "Hold on!" she yelled, forcing the locket shut and clutching it tightly as if it were a lifeline. The shadows heaved, a wave of darkness crashing against the walls. In the corner, unseen tendrils slithered, creeping closer, drawn to the living warmth of her family. "Hurry!" Rachel urged, shoving the locket into her pocket. She snatched up Mia's small hand, yanking her close. The cabin felt smaller, the shadows thicker, like they were closing in from every side. They raced down the dim corridor, the echoes of the past weaving tales of sorrow from every creak and groan of the wood beneath their feet. Each step rang out like a thunderclap, a warning that something else was awake in the suffocating silence. What was that thing?" Ethan wheezed, glancing back, eyes wide with terror. Rachel didn't answer. She didn't want him to see the fear in her own eyes. The truth of the twisted figure lingered, an imprint of horror etched into her mind. They stumbled through another door at the end of the hall, a closet. At least it was a place to hide, but the air was stifling, filled with the pungent scent of mildew and dust. The children pressed against her, their small bodies shaking. And then, silence. The oppressive quiet was more terrifying than any sound. It was the kind of silence that made the hair on the back of her neck stand upright, that announced the impending arrival of something malevolent. "Mama," Mia whispered, terror thick in her voice. Suddenly, a scraping sound resonated from the closet door. Rachel's breath caught in her throat. The whispers ignited again, a low chant growing louder, demanding attention. "Help us! Help us!" She quickly covered Mia's mouth, shushing her. "We can't make a sound," she breathed, panic rising. She pressed herself against the wall, her heart pounding in time with the rhythmic scraping. The door began to rattle. A shadow, darker than the night itself, edged around the edges of the doorframe. Something was trying to get in. Rachel's instincts surged, snapping the quiet shackles, fueling her desperation. "We can't stay here!" Just then, the lantern's flame sputtered again, casting a brief light that illuminated the edges of the closet. In that heartbeat, she saw twisted faces merging from the shadows on the floor, mouths stretching into silent screams, reaching for them. "No! No! No!" Rachel cried, wrenching the door open and shoving her children behind her, backing them away from the haunting figures inching forward. "Help us! Help us!" It was unbearable. They bolted from the closet, heart racing, flowing into the main room where the whispers turned into desperate wails. Shadows seemed to dissolve into forms of anguish, souls trapped in eternal torment, vying to be heard. "Get to the locket," Rachel urged, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "It has to." The lantern flickered again, the wrappings on the walls intensifying. It was more than just a light. It was a beacon, revealing the hidden chaos. In the corner, the fireplace flickered to life, revealing a faint outline of the family's photograph, a connection to the past. Rachel didn't know how much longer they could endure. The shadows pulsed with agitation, hungry for the warmth of the living. It felt like time was thickening, warping around them, suffocating all hope. "Mama," Ethan's voice cracked, pulling her focus back to her children. "Stay with me." She grasped the locket from her pocket, her fingers trembling as she opened it once more. In that moment, a loud crack echoed behind her, the cabin shaking as if the very wood revolted against their presence. "Mama, please!" Ethan shrieked, eyes darting towards the churning shadows behind them. The air thickened with despair, and Rachel felt it. A bond, a realization, the spirit trapped, the key to it all hidden within the locket's history. But at what price? As the shadows surged forward, hungry for release, Rachel knew they had to confront whatever haunted this place. She had to unlock the truth, or they would spiral deeper into the abyss. "Mia, Ethan, hold on tight. We're not done yet." With one last determination, Rachel braced herself. What truths would emerge from the depths of their plight? Would it set them free? Or was it the final nail in their coffin? Rachel's heart raced as she clutched the locket, an inexplicable energy pulsing through the metal. The whispers swirled around her, each echo a desperate cry for help, urging her to make a choice. The chilling figures converged, their hollow eyes reflecting her panic. "Get back!" Rachel shouted, pushing Mia and Ethan behind her once more, ready to shield them with her body. The shadows writhed like a living entity, reacting to her fear with delight. How much more could they take? There was a sharp crack as the lantern flickered violently, casting stark light over the room. For a fleeting moment, Rachel saw the terrifying shapes crystallize into something almost recognizable. A child, a woman, a man twisted in sorrow. Ghostly remnants of lives once lived collided with their present confusion. "Mama, it's still coming!" Ethan's voice broke the spell, pulling her back. She turned just in time to see a dark tendril stretching from the corner, darting toward them with a hunger born of despair. "Run!" Rachel yelled, the command bursting forth like a lifeline as she grabbed Ethan's hand and pulled Mia along. They raced across the room, their bare feet pounding against the cold wooden floor as furniture rattled ominously around them, as if urging them to stay. But the shadows weren't having any of it. The tendrils darted closer, threading through the furniture, seeking flesh. Rachel could feel the frigid touch skimming the back of her neck, sending icy chills spiraling down her spine. "Don't look back," she forced out, choking on fear. Ahead lay the window, their only escape from the darkness.
The glass shimmered ominously, like a storm brewing just outside. Suddenly, a deafening roar erupted, shaking the very foundation of the cabin. The air was charged with a sinister energy, as if the house itself was awakening, furious at their trespassing. Rachel's panic surged as shards of wood splintered off, sending sharp shards flying through the air like projectiles. "In here," she shouted, leading them towards an adjoining room, the door barely hanging on its hinges. They burst inside, past the tattered curtain obscuring whatever lurked within. The room was dim, filled with abandoned furniture, its corners woven with shadows. Rachel could barely see through the haze, but the air was heavy with a sorrowful presence. It felt wrong, like every breath could awaken something sleeping. "No, no!" Another crash came from the other room, louder this time. Ethan whined, clinging to Rachel's side. Mia hit her face against her mother's leg, her small body trembling. What would it take to get them out of here, Rachel thought, the weight of the locket solid in her pocket, its secrets heavy. Could it really hold the answer to their escape, or was it just another trick of the darkness? "Follow me to the back," she urged, leading her children cautiously past a broken mirror that reflected haunting glimpses of their terror-stricken faces. Just as they reached the far wall, a piercing scream filled the air. It rang out, echoing from the very walls, wrenching their hearts with despair. The cries melded into the shadows, forming a chorus of anguish. "Mama, make it stop!" Mia wailed, her voice a raw edge of panic. Rachel's mind raced. There had to be a reason for this torment. Suddenly, without warning, the locket pulsed against her chest, warm and beckoning. It hadn't done that before. "Ethan, stand back," Rachel commanded, feeling a surge of lunacy emboldening her. She held the locket out in front of her, daring the shadows to approach. In that moment, as the wailing reached a fever pitch, the air crackled with energy. She realized it wasn't just an heirloom, it was a key. But a key to what? The shadows flared, and a deep voice echoed from the darkness, filled with rage and despair. "Release us! Only then will you know peace." "Release you?" Rachel gasped, the weight of the ultimatum crashing down. What would she have to sacrifice to free the spirits trapped here? As the shadows lunged forward, Rachel's resolve hardened. She took a deep breath, heart pounding against the uncertainty. "Tell me what to do." The moment hung thick with tension, her fate intertwined with the perilous history of the cabin, teetering on the edge of unbearable horror. What awaited her on the other side of that choice? Would it illuminate their path to freedom or plunge them into a deeper darkness? Rachel's grip on the locket tightened as the shadows surged forward, a mass of desperation and rage. The chilling voice reverberated through the room, bathed in darkness. "You hold the key, but the choice is yours, mortal." "Release us!" a chorus of voices whimpered from the abyss. The shadows twisted and coiled, shifting in shape as if they were alive, hungry for something only Rachel could provide. "What do you want from me?" she shouted, her voice wavering, a thin veneer of courage barely holding her together. His face twisted with sorrow, Ethan pressed against Rachel's side, wide eyes glistening with terror. Mia's tiny breaths echoed her brother's fear. The shadows pulsed in response, their essence reaching out, wrapping around their legs like creeping vines, intent on capturing them. "Sacrifice!" the collective voice hissed. "Sacrifice to free us!" Rachel felt dread crushing her chest. Did they mean a life? The thought paralyzed her. "Not a life! Not my children!" she cried, instinctively drawing them closer, cradling Mia's trembling form against her. "Then hold the locket!" The deep voice slithered through the room, an unholy command. "Force us from the dark, give us form, and we shall reclaim our freedom." Rachel's heart thudded painfully. The air grew thick with despair and rage, the walls themselves closing in. What do I have to do? Share the pain, whispered a wailing voice that seemed to emanate from the darkest corner, feeding off her anxiety. You must confront the sorrow, your sorrow. Confusion washed over her. What sorrow? She didn't dare let
Go of the locket. The very idea sent shivers racing down her spine. But something was stirring deep inside her, a dark memory lurking just beneath the surface. She thought of the grief they had faced, the loss that had shadowed her life. With each memory released, a spirit will rise, the spectral echo promised, a sickening sweetness lacing its tone. They will return. Their release may be yours, or it may plunge you into their abyss. The shadows swirled tighter around her, distant faces appearing momentarily between the tendrils as if they were trapped in a vortex. She could sense their fear mirrored in the tight grip of Mia and Ethan's trembling hands. "No more!" Rachel shouted, anger flaring like a match in the dark. She wouldn't allow them to manipulate her further. "You think I'll let my children go through this? You're all trapped here because of your choices!" The shadows flickered in sudden silence, and a cold breeze swept through the room, sending chills across Rachel's skin. "You believe that?" the voice challenged, a sharp edge slicing through the tension. "Then you do not know the path ahead." Instinctively, she clutched the locket tighter as the once warm pulse faded to ice. The room held its breath, a moment suspended on the brink of a decision. Could she even face the past without losing everything she loved? "No," she hissed defiantly. I choose to fight back." The shadows lunged forward, as if in response to her declaration, their grips tightening, pulling her into their dark embrace. Rachel squeezed her eyes shut, focusing on her children's presence, their warmth grounding her. "What do I need to do?" she murmured, feeling teetering on the edge of madness, her heart racing against the darkness surrounding them. And then there was silence, a stillness odd in a world so consumed by fear. The walls seemed to breathe in tandem with Rachel, waiting. What lay beyond the utter destruction? Was it a truth buried in anguish, a salvation, or perhaps the very end of her? Then, as if summoned, a piercing wail erupted from every corner of the cabin, a cacophony born from the depths of despair. "Release us! Free us!" As the final notes of the haunting cry echoed away, the fabric of the room shimmered and shifted. Rachel felt the pull of the locket, drawing her in, binding her and her children to the shadows. She hesitated, heart pounding, but curiosity outweighed fear. What awaited her in that darkness? Would she finally reveal the hidden truths, or would they all be consumed in the horrid abyss? "Hold on tight," Rachel shouted, adrenaline coursing through her. With the locket leading the way, she braced herself to plunge into the darkness. What awaited beyond the veil could either liberate or destroy them all. The air thickened as Rachel, hand over the locket, plunged into the shadows. The world around her twisted. One moment, she felt her children's warmth. The next, it flickered like a dying candlelight. The darkness was alive, swirling with a sinister energy that buzzed like static against her skin. "Mom?" Ethan's voice trembled, a soft cry barely cutting through the heavy silence. "Stay close!" she shouted, panic clawing at her throat. The shadows wove tighter, as if testing the strength of their bond, suffocating the air she needed. She felt the weight of their dark hunger pressing down on her, felt a sense of foreboding creep under her skin. With a rush, the locket pulsed, a wet pounding against her chest, matching her racing heart. She gasped, remembering the stories her grandmother had told her about the binding power of family heirlooms. Every piece of sorrow, every ounce of grief was embedded within it. "I need you,"
Rachel whispered, clutching the locket as tears streamed down her cheeks. "I need you to let me fight." For a moment, the shadows hesitated, shifting as if they were contemplating her resolve. Then, almost mocking her, they surged forward with a deafening roar. "Face our pain!" They rattled through the room, voices layered, echoing the tragedies that lived within this cursed space. The darkness undulated, revealing images from another time, flickers of memories suffused with anguish. She saw a small coffin draped in white cloth, her heart shattered anew. Annie, her first child, gone too soon. The suffocating sorrow pressed in, reminding her of the night it all came crashing down. The shadows seemed to pulse with malicious delight, feeding off her pain. "No!" Rachel cried out, instinctively stepping back. The floor was damp and cold beneath her, and she feared she was slipping. "You don't get to hurt me anymore!" Yet, each time she denied them, their grip tightened. Faces swirled in the dark, anguished and pleading, feeding her sorrow with each breath. They were not mere figments, but the lost, the forgotten, souls searching for release. Suddenly, Mia's tiny hand slipped from her grasp. "Mommy!" The despair in Mia's voice struck a chilling chord. Rachel's heart froze. She whirled to see her daughter being pulled, the shadows wrapping around her like a fog. "No, Mia!" She lunged forward, hands outstretched. The shadows enveloped her, pulling them apart, an icy gap widening between them. The room warped, and Rachel heard the faint cries of fragmented souls blending with Mia's tiny screams. "Mom, help me!" Ethan screamed, panic erupting in his voice. The swirling darkness pulsated around them, resonating with their fear. Rachel could feel it, the child's desperate pleas tapping into her deepest fears. With a surge of fury, Rachel raised the locket. "I won't offer you my children! I won't!" A flash of light burst from the locket and surged outward, striking the shadows like a beacon. The dark forms recoiled, hissing and screeching. The visible dread in their faces echoed a chilling truth. Her love was stronger than their torment. But as the light spread, it revealed something horrifying. In the glowing remnants of the shadows, faces materialized, lost souls bound to her. Memories. A chorus of voices muffled her own screams. "Join us! Join us!" Rachel staggered backward, the chilling realization grounding her. Each face was a reflection of her broken past, a mix of sorrow, fear, and betrayal. Who among them would come forward? Would she even recognize their tears? "Mom!" Ethan cried again, his voice sounding so distant. The shadows twisted, preparing to reclaim him. "No!" Rachel screamed, the world teetering as she took a step forward. "I will not lose them again. I choose to remember, and I choose to fight." But with that declaration, the temperature plummeted and the shadows surged, hungry for her decision. What would it cost her to break their chains? Would she reveal more than she ever intended? And as Rachel's grip tightened around the locket, a question whispered through the air. Would breaking free mean losing what she fought to protect? The chaos around Rachel intensified, shadows swirling menacingly as she clutched the locket like a lifeline. The air crackled with their desperate cries, the lost souls begging for release, intertwining with her own memories of love and loss. "Join us!" they howled, voices a chilling echo of anguish, tearing at her heart. "No!" Rachel screamed, forcing her way through the darkness, refusing to let terror take hold. She felt the weight of Mia and Ethan's fear close behind her, a tether anchoring her resolve. "I won't lose anything more. I will fight for my family." In that moment of defiance, the locket pulsed fiercely against her chest, radiating warmth that fought against the icy grasp of despair. The light exploded outward, banishing the shadows, illuminating the cries of the sorrowful souls. Faces flickered in and out, each one resonating with pain, but also a glimmer of hope. "Mama," Ethan's voice echoed, fragile and terrified. It wrenched her heart. Rachel turned, summoning every ounce of strength as she saw her children, their figures almost lost in the viscous darkness, trying to pull them away. She sprinted toward them, her heart racing, the walls disappearing as her priorities crystallized. "Hold on to each other," she urged, chasing away the doubt with each step, until she could feel warm skin underneath her fingertips. Mia reaching for Ethan, and Ethan grasping her hand tightly. As the shadows shrieked with rage, the light from the locket flared up again, wrapping around their small family. The dark entities shrank back, defeated by the warmth of her love. She could see their eyes barely a foot away, woven from sorrow, but their faces twisted in anger. "We have what you fear, your pain," a voice echoed, brimming with menacing delight. Rachel took a deep breath, shaking off the dread clinging to her. "You don't understand. You think you can use my pain against me? My love is stronger than you'll ever know." Those words hung in the air, a challenge. The ghosts began to swirl, dark forms engulfing the room. But with the locket glowing brighter, something shifted. The light pulsed rhythmically, resonating like
a heartbeat. Suddenly, one shadowy figure lunged forward, its eyes blazing with sorrow. "You feel it too," it snarled, sorrowful rage spilling forth. "You know what it's like to lose." Tears stung Rachel's eyes. "Yes, I've lost too much, but I've learned that love doesn't fade, it transforms." She held the locket higher, unleashing the memories it contained. The faces of lost loved ones whispered through her, weaving a tapestry of life and loss swimming around her. Conditional sorrow morphed, replaced by a flickering light, revealing hidden truths. The darkness hesitated, as if absorbing the special essence that had bound them to this realm. She could sense their despair transforming, slowly melting together to form something new. "Release the pain!" Rachel cried, her voice rising above the chaos. "Embrace your love!" With every beat of the locket, waves of light swept through the cabin, dissolving the dark figures within its embrace. The spirits wailed, their moans turning from sorrow to relief, releasing the binding shackles they had worn for so long. The faces twisted and transformed, each one reflecting hope, each one transporting echoes resonant with realization. Mia shrieked, holding tightly onto Ethan as they were swept up, arching out of the path of the disintegrating shadows. Light spilled in, a kaleidoscope of past and present resonating within a newfound spectrum of warmth. But even as the darkness faded, Rachel felt the weight of apprehension. This battle was hard fought, and what lay on the other side was still unknown. The whispers danced around them, but instead of cries for help, they shifted, swirling into expressions of gratitude. Light fractured through the splintered floors and walls, illuminating every crack, healing the old scars. "In your empathy there is life. You have freed us." The shadows melted away, and as the cries of anguish transformed into whispers of thanks, Rachel felt a warmth enveloping them, bathing them in solace. The curse was lifted. For the first time, she felt emboldened with pure, unyielding strength. "Mama, are we safe?" Ethan asked, his small voice bringing her back to the moment. Rachel turned to them, tears streaming freely now. "Yes, my love, we're safe." She enveloped them in her arms, squeezing tight as an exhilarating rush of unity washed over her. The moonlight flooded the cabin, spilling through cracks, illuminating the hauntingly beautiful family portrait next to the fireplace. Sage and sorrow lived side by side now. Rachel's past, once a shadowed burden, became a lesson, a powerful testament of resilience and love. Together, they emerged from the cabin into a world cleared of darkness. The trees stood tall and firm, whispers of the lost, now comforting breezes. The path stretched open before them, leading into the promise of tomorrow. "Mama," Mia tugged at her, "will they be okay?" "Everyone deserves peace, sweetheart," Rachel replied, warmth glowing in her chest.
just like we do. As they walked hand in hand, a new song harmonized in the night, a song of hope, resilience, and healing. Their story had shaped them,
but it would be the love binding them that would carry forward. Now, as they left Oakwood Academy behind, joy unfurling in the twilight, they knew the past lessons would echo bright in their hearts forever. Thank you for being part of their journey. If you enjoyed this heart-pounding conclusion, you need to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything. Only true fans understand the importance of keeping the channel alive with these actions.